Projekt Guru.
Всем привет! С вами Zak Novak на радиостанции Novorossia Rocks. Welcome back to Novorossia Rocks Radio Station, Projekt Guru. Guru's in the house as always. Guru, thank you so much for all the hard work you do. Andre, the engineer, as well. Thank you, Andre. And Natalia, my lovely co-host, say hello to the world. Hello, Novorossia.
Hello, Novorossia. Hello, world.
Guru, as you know, blackout over the weekend, Crimea, war crimes. This was done by the Kiev junta, terrorists who we also know, disclosed information of weapons being supplied by Kiev junta, weapons being supplied to ISIS. The Ukrainian police, the Ukrainian fascist police, have sealed off the area where electricity transmission towers were damaged in a blast, and preparations for repair works are now underway, the Kherson branch of Ukraine's Interior Ministry said. The place of the incident has been blocked and we're controlling the situation. Repair teams are being admitted to the place. Preparations for repairs are underway. The time of the repair commencement is an issue that should not be addressed. The Kherson region branch of Ukraine's emergency service could not specify the time when the repairs would start. We have no information. Police are staying there without letting anyone in or out. All Crimean populated areas were left without electricity overnight to November 22nd. Electricity supplies were terminated via all the 4 power transmission lines supplying electricity to Crimea from Ukraine. But later on, we got some more details. But when they did arrive there, Guru, there were activists, terrorists, right sector people, and they even showed photos, selfies, of blowing down these power lines. Kiev junta terrorists. These are war crimes. Neutralized. A militant group incorporated into the Islamic State, a terrorist organization outlawed in Russia, has been neutralized in Nalchik, and a workshop for the production of homemade explosive devices has been rendered harmless, according to the spokesman for the National Anti-Terrorist Committee. In a counter-terrorist operation conducted in Russia's North Caucasus Republic of Kabardino Balkaria, officers of the Russian Federal Security Service and Interior Ministry neutralized a militant group incorporated into the international terrorist organization Islamic State. 11 bandits were spotted at a fortified base located in a mountain forest. They were killed when they tried to break away from the blockade area, the spokesman said. Neutralized. This, according to President Bashar al-Assad. Viva Syria. Russia's Air Force participation in fighting terrorism in Syria has improved the situation in the Arab country. It's been now nearly 5 years since the terrorism infected Syria, and of course, because of the support of regional and international states, the terrorists could capture many areas within Syria, Assad said. Of course, the army has been fighting them, and it won many battles, but the army cannot exist everywhere on the Syrian ground. But recently, after the participation of the Mother Russia Air Forces in fighting terrorism, the situation has improved in a very good way. And now I can say that the army is making advancements in nearly every front, although front is not very precisely defined. It's not wrong, but let's say in many different directions and areas on the Syrian ground. Russian aircraft have been delivering strikes against facilities of the Islamic State terrorist organization in Syria since September 30th at the request of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The Federation Council, the upper house of Russia's parliament, convened on September 30th to approve President Putin's request for the use of the country's armed forces in Syria against the Islamic State and Jafat al-Nusra terrorist groupings. On the same day, Russia's Air and Space Force started to deliver the first pinpointed airstrikes against the militant positions. The Russian aviation grouping comprises more than 50 aircraft and helicopters, including the Sukhois of the 34s, 24s, 25 attack aircraft, Sukhoi 30 fighters, and of course the helicopters of the Mi-8s and 24s. Also, overnight to October 7th, the Caspian flotilla ships delivered a massive strike on the ISIS objectives in Syria using Caliber NK shipborne cruise missiles. Again, Bashar al-Assad, very thankful, and the country coming back to life. Viva Assad, Viva Russia. Guru, really short, before I continue with the news, there's some photos coming out, war crimes during this blackout, what the Nazi regime did of knocking out the power lines in Ukraine. Blackout in Crimea, there's pictures coming out of children trying to study in candlelight, alright? Crimean children reading books at candlelight during massive power blackout caused by the Kiev-backed terrorists. You can see these photos, they will be posted on Novorossia today. Nazi Ukrainian fighters violated the ceasefire 14 times over the last 24 hours. Natalia, thank you for this. Just in, they shelled the Donetsk People's Republic using different types of weaponry. The situation in DPR has been very tense. Ukrainian criminals violated the ceasefire 14 times according to the Defense Ministry. The Defense Department stated that the village of Staromihailovka was hit. Also, the Petrovsky district was also shelled. The airport territory and the surrounding villages of Spartak, Zhabunki were targeted by the Nazi Ukrainian nationalistic forces. Areas of Golovka was also shelled. Nazi Ukrainian forces used artillery, mortars, infantry, combat vehicles, and small arms. The military information is being updated. As for the preliminary information, we know that Petrovsky district, village Alexandrovka, Spartak were shelled by the Kiev junta forces during the day on 22nd of November. Also, thank you Natalia, this in, Nazi Ukrainian fighters shelled the village of Sahanka in the Novorossia Rocks region of the Donetsk People's Republic last night, according to the Defense Ministry of DPR. About 8 p.m. last night, the enemy opened fire at the village of Sahanka. The shelling went on for about 40 minutes. 8 mortar shells landed in Sahanka. It was pointed out that the Nazi Ukrainian fighters conducted shelling from the demilitarized zone. This is very important, Guru. From the demilitarized zone of the village of Shirokhino, they used mortars of 120s. Nazi Ukrainian forces are constantly violating the ceasefire regime. Guru, are you ready for this? Sanctions extended on Russia. Western leaders who met at the G20 summit in Turkey. The decision was taken despite mounting calls to cooperate more closely with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the fight against Islamic State following the militant group's November 13th attacks in Paris, which killed 130 people. U.S. President Barack Obama, Germany's Angela Merkel, Britain's David Cameron, Italy's Matteo Renzi, and French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius, who represented President François Hollande at the summit, attended the brief meeting near the conclusion of the G20 meeting in Antalya. The sanctions are due to expire in January before full implementation of the so-called Minsk peace deal, which aims to resolve the standoff between Kiev and pro-Russian separatists in Donbass. Western countries have said all elements of the Minsk need to be fulfilled before they can consider easing the sanctions. Madness. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said on Sunday he was highly appreciative of Mother Russia's role in the fight against terrorism. The UN chief said at a meeting with Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev he appreciated highly the leading role of Russia, which was working jointly with the United States to resolve the root causes lying at the basis of terrorism. The UN chief noted the deteriorating security and social situation in Syria as a cause for terrorism. The recent initiatives by Russian Foreign Ministry Sergei Lavrov and U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry have given a strong impetus to finding a political solution to the Syrian crisis. Ban Ki-moon said he hoped that Russia would demonstrate solidarity in his issue while working with other UN Security Council members. Russia could play a leading role in fighting against Islamic State. The world should unite to give a response to the Islamic State, and Russia can play a leading role in this fight, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said. All right, my lovely co-host Natalia will be coming in talking about members of the Bundestag from Germany who came here to witness all the atrocities committed by the Poroshenko regime and also to bring in some humanitarian aid, medical aid, right, Natalia? Natalia, please.
On 19th November, two representatives of Bundestag, Wolfgang Gerke and Hunko, visited Gorlovka, a town which was destroyed by Ukrainian forces many times. They brought humanitarian aid, medicines for children's hospital. They were impressed of the city as they looked at destroyed infrastructure, city infrastructure, especially schools and hospitals. Next day they had a trip around Donetsk city, around suburbs, especially surrounding territories, populated areas of airport in Kuybышevsky district. When they arrived, the first impression was, I'll quote Wolfgang Gerke, "I do not know how to sleep peacefully after these views. I have never seen before such views, such destroying. I knew about war only from literature, and I believed that our children will never face this war. It is horrible. Europe does not need this war. He looked at destroyed terminal, destroyed populated houses in Oktябрьский district, for instance. However, nearly all infrastructure was destroyed by Ukrainian fighters. Several citizens are still living there because they did not have ability to move, and Gerke and Hunka had ability to talk to them, and they were shocked that people live without utility services, without heating, water, and they promised to return back to Germany and to talk with authorities to stop this cruel war started by Ukraine in Donbass.
Uru, bad news. Argentina, a pro-US, pro-corporate, and wants to expel Venezuela. Macri, this is going to be very short. We'll talk more about this on Wednesday. Macri wins elections in Argentina. Listen to this. He said he would push to expel Venezuela from the South American trade bloc known as Mercosur because of the jailing of opposition leaders under Maduro. That would be a huge change for a continent where many countries, including the neighbors of Chile, Brazil, Bolivia, have left-leaning democratic governments that have maintained close ties with Venezuela. This man is against Venezuela. He always was against Hugo Chavez, and never will they be victorious in South America. Okay, that ends our program. Everyone, please be safe. Stay on alert. Let's end this with The Doors, Waiting for the Sun. Bye-bye, folks.
At first flash of Eden, we raced down to the sea. Standing there on freedom's shore, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun. Can't you feel it now that spring has come? That it's time to live in the scattered sun. Waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting, 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 waiting for you to come along. Waiting for you to hear my song. Waiting for you to come along. Waiting for you to tell me what went wrong. This is the strangest life I've ever known. that spring has come, that it's time to live in the scattered sun. Waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting.